This morning we want to go back and revisit a section that we call Beast Beaters, and it's a section in our youth football area. And the way you find that is you go tackle, youth, 11v11, defense, and right down here it's got its own section, Beast Beaters. I'm in an admin account right here, so you can see we've got the formation and different ways and when they spread it out and that type of thing. But the one that we want to look at this morning, we told you initially, and this is just the base drawing that we had. Let's go back and revisit that first before we look at the adaptation that we made for this offense when they start spreading it out. So the good news is we've seen a lot of comments on social media about people submarining and making piles, which that's exactly what you should do. When you get this formation right here, you need to get in the gaps. You need to get them to crawl right through the gaps, create piles, make the ball bounce. And that's exactly what it sounds like is going on. We'll show you here in a second. But you also want to make sure you keep the main thing the main thing. They want this guy, the quarterback, or this player to run the football. That's why you want to put a player responsible for the quarterback at all times, because there are not a whole lot of options as far as how you hand the ball off here. And so you need to understand the main thing is the main thing. Let's stop that quarterback. And the second main thing is make sure that you're creating piles. Make sure that you're playing the odds. The three back right here has very little chance of becoming anything in the pass game. And so what you're going to do is you're going to bounce it. You've got your corner sitting out here to make sure it stays inside. And your best players need to be back here. Free safety on the quarterback. And these backers right here need to be scrape players, and they need to be able to see what's going on and get to the football. These players here need to be effort, grit players. Once again, create a pile, and then after they create that pile, play's not over. Get up and get to the football. Now, let's get to the point today. What we're seeing is, once again, just like we told you, now that you've created these piles in here, they're starting to move these guys out here on the perimeter. So really, all they've got is a quarterback and everybody else on the line of scrimmage. So when that happens, and be careful with this, you don't have to have too many adjustments, but have one adjustment. When they line up like this, essentially what they're going to try to do, obviously, is get to the perimeter. And so you've got to be sound across the board. You still have to make sure that you contain this back over here, because potentially they could hand a jet sweep back over here. Back over here on the backside, play it exactly the way you have. Put that corner in charge of that tight end in case they were going to pass. If that tight end goes out, this will backer right here, no need to submarine now. Go get the quarterback. And if you've got a gap, you got a gap. Now, once these three players get out here on the edge, now you want to stunt your two tackles into the B and the C gap. And you want to take this sandbacker right here. You may call it something different. Now you want to shoot that gap. You want to create a pile. You want to create a pile right here and then loop your end around. So now what you've done is you're creating that pile, and you should be able to get an end out here kind of for your contain. You'll also notice that as we've got people out here on the perimeter, we're going to take the corner right here and move him head up to inside of that outside guy. And why are we going to do that? Because so far out here, if we can make that ball bounce all the way out here, that's why you have, once again, your best players. 1, 2, 3. They'll scrape and get there. So just take your corner. If that player releases off the line of scrimmage, tell your corner to cover them. If they don't, if they block down, if they block out or whatever, tell them just to stay in that crease right there. Make the 4 block down. Make them try to find a way to get it to the edge. Once again, that ball starts to the edge. Now your best player should be able to run it down. So let's just recap right here. Once again, you don't want to have too many adjustments, but you do want to have just a wing adjustment, wing, whatever you want to call it right here. And when you get that, move these guys out of the gap, move them head up, slam them into the next gap, into the B, into the C, crease that D gap right there, wrap, and then let your best players back here find the football.